All right, The Purge, episode 7, season 2. Should I stay or should I go now? Okay, there's no now. I added that, but, how can you say that without singing it? Although I guess I kind of just did, but because that definitely wasn't me singing. But I'll spare you, and I won't do another version of it with me singing. All right, so we've got mask makers here in the opening debating whether or not to release the campus killer Purge mask. And of course, these corporate assholes, these CEOs, these heartless fucking idiots decide, controversy sells, and we're businessmen, and they can look at themselves in the mirror and feel okay with saying stuff like, it's just business. It's just business. I've said this many times on my channel, many times. If you can say it's just business with a straight face when you're clearly doing something horrible, you're soulless. It's not just business. You're still a human being. So, anyways, they decide, okay, this is best what's for the company. And of course, that comes back to play in the very end when the episode jumps dramatically ahead. We'll get to that, but for now, I thought that was a cool opening, just to kind of see from a marketing standpoint of a company that thrives financially off of the Purge, and what their sales tactics would be, and what their day-to-day life would be like in that context, in the the boardroom. I love that this show just brings new elements that I never even would have thought of. Like, who makes the masks for the Purge, and what would their talks and discussions be like, and is there a marketing team, and do they actually listen to the general public on what would be the most desired option for Purge wearing masks for killing and doing other violent acts or illegal acts. Not that night, obviously, but you know what I mean. Interesting. Very interesting. So, the Purge show has yet again thrown in yet another element that I was like, man, they really have thought about this in depth, and I love it. This is another really good episode. This for me is a much better season than last season. I liked last season, but it was kind of just very obvious stuff. Like, it was cool. It had good moments, but it was just kind of like, all right, it's on the Purge, and, here's your characters, and I don't know, it just kind of checked boxes for me. Not a bad way, just kind of like, this is a much more unique and interesting, thought-provoking spin on things. This was them sitting down and being like, all right, how can we push the envelope further? Like, what would be more interesting this season? And being like, how about when the Purge isn't going on, what life would be like? That is cool. And I just can't praise that enough. I think I've mentioned that in like every review now for this, but I'm so happy that they went this road and this route. And like, we've gotten 6 episodes off Purge hours, off Purge days. That's awesome. Like, I didn't know how much of the season was going to be that long. Clearly the next episode's going to start pretty close to the Purge. I mean, we're 2 days away at this point. I don't know if the next episode will be Purge day. I doubt it, but I can see one more episode of just like everyone getting ready, and then the end of episode 8, you hear the Purge sirens. Like, that'd be great, because then it gives you a 9th episode to fully purge it out, get all the characters doing everything that they have, ended on some big cliffhanger of, oh shit, this is going down, this is happening, are they going to get out of it, are they going to be successful? And then the last episode, you kind of have their finale of what they've all done, if they live, if they are successful, and then you've got like the aftermath, which will be like the last like 15-20 minutes of when the Purge ends, and them kind of getting back to where they were supposed to head. So I think it's this is kind of what I had guessed. I want to say, if I went back to the first episode, this is kind of what I had guessed, that it would leave like an episode or 2 for the Purge at the end, and that the majority of it would be this. And I'm very happy to be right on that. If I'm pretty sure that's what I said. I'm like 99% sure. That's awesome. That's exactly what I wanted. So thank God we're here on episode 7, and we're still off Purge season, and we're just getting close. So I think they nailed it on that. All right. So we get an answer to why Marcus is being hunted. One of the neighbors had his wife die at the hands of Marcus, who was trying to save his wife, but he didn't have the best bedside manner, I guess. He didn't come out and be the one to tell the guy I fucked up, which, I mean, I don't know how. I'm not a doctor. I can't even begin to comprehend what that would be like, to come out very confidently like, oh, this is a routine thing, like, we can get this done. I know you're kind of blowing smoke a little bit to put them at ease, but you don't want to blow too much smoke and get their hopes too far up, because it could go wrong, which of course it ended up doing. But then being the one who has to come out and tell them after you kind of came out all cocky and were like, I got this, you're going to be all right. I mean, yeah, should he have? I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I'm not a doctor. I don't know what that situation is like, and I'm sure doctors do deal with this on a not an average basis, but probably a good amount. And that, could you imagine? I mean, could you imagine? Because you do want to come out with confidence and be like, look, like, I'm going to do everything I can. I think they're going to be okay. If you don't want to be like, look, they're fucking dead. All right, there's just nothing I can do. You want to be realistic, but you also, your bedside manner is your bedside manner. And maybe he was just an overly arrogant person who was just young in his career, and he thought he was untouchable and he could save everyone. He had the fucking golden touch, and he screwed up, and then he just pushed it off on someone else. We don't know what Marcus was like. I just try to see things from both sides and think of the doctor as well in that situation of like, oh my God, I can't face him. Could you imagine telling someone you can save their fucking life and their wife's life and then not deliver, and then have to go out there and be like, I know I said that I could, but I didn't. So she's like the opposite of alive. So sorry. Could you imagine? I mean, come on, man. That's just rough. But we don't know. We don't get to see the actual events take place. And then, ironically, Marcus moves in next door to this guy and doesn't recognize him. How often does Marcus meet people whose wives kill him? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this kind of reminds me of Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I know this is a movie that a lot of people don't like. I personally am a big fan of it, but, opinions vary. You fight me on it, I don't care. But there's a scene in there where Loomis is confronted by Linda's father, and he throws down the picture of her, and he's like, oh, she's pretty. Like, who is this? Like, who can I make it out to? Whatever. And he's like, that's my daughter. Like, you're making a living off of my daughter's death, like, by selling this. And Loomis doesn't even recognize her. Like, he has no recollection of that. And it's like, it hurts so much worse that he doesn't recognize it. Like, I feel like that guy would have been all right if when he met him would have been like, oh my God, like, I think of you every freaking night. Like, I wanted to tell you, I just couldn't come up with the word. But Marcus, like, straight up does not remember. Because when he meets him, he's like, who are you? He clearly doesn't know who the guy is. And to be that detached, I mean, maybe you have to be. And how often does he deal with it? And how long ago was it? And that's tough. You want to say, as being not a doctor, I'm a fucking hairdresser, so I haven't been a party to someone's death, whether I was trying to save them or not. No one's died in my arms, especially someone who I said I could save. So, yeah, what would that, I mean, you would think that would stick? But I don't know. I don't know the situation. I don't know how often he deals with it. I don't know his mindset at the time. I don't know. So it does look bad on him a little bit. But who the fuck am I to say? So yeah, but I get where the husband's coming from. The fact that all the neighbors are in on it because they previously knew him and loved his wife, and they very much bought into his story. And during their time, they must have had interactions with Marcus. Some of them kind of make mention of this. Like, how well do you know any of us? Like, you moved onto our block and you don't know any of us. That said, now I know the Purge universe is a different universe than ours at the current moment. Lots changed since the events of the Purge, but if you really look at right now, how well do you know your neighbors? I mean, some of you might be like, "Oh, really well," and that's great. But like for the most part, the majority of 2019, how well do you know your neighbors? I don't know. I don't know a lot of my neighbors. Up until recently, I did start to get to know some of my neighbors because my kids were hanging out with their kids, and then we kind of became, entangled in that way, communicatively. But before that, never. I didn't know anybody. I never knew fucking anybody before my kids were around. You just kind of shut yourself in. You don't pay attention. And Marcus is a busy dude. He's a doctor. He's all over the place. His wife's out having affairs and shit. So they're probably not the most friendly neighbors. But I don't know. Maybe they made attempts. We don't know. We don't know both sides. But they clearly had a bias. Now, why it took so long, I don't know how long they lived there. This could have been the first year. Maybe they said, I don't remember. But he gives them the option. Look. You got till midnight. Get lost, and maybe I'll let you go. Maybe I'll take the bounty off your head. And Marcus's son shows up, and he's like, "I'm screwed. I need to get out of here." And they're like, "All right, let's go." And boom, they drive up to the county line or the state line, and he's like, "You're on the no travel list," which I would think would immediately get him arrested. Like, they'd take him into custody. They wouldn't just let him turn around and leave, like, and try a different location. You know what I mean? Like, usually in that it's like, we're gonna have to detain you, sort this out, kind of stuff. Especially with the NFFA and how quick they seem to be able to grab people when they're doing something illegal. Something illegal in these times seems to be much bigger deal. You know, where people are like, if you did anything wrong, like, you're going in. You know. So I just found it kind of odd that they let them turn around, but they come back and the neighbor's just like, "You motherfucker. Like, I can't believe, all right, it's on now," you know? And this is like, what, 4 months before the Purge is going to happen. So he's got a lot of time to stew on that. He's got to live next to him. I mean, how uncomfortable would that be? Every day you get up and you're like, that's the dude who wants to kill me. And all my neighbors want to kill me as well. Like, Marcus's life must just be a living hell. Like, straight up. And of course, there's got to be a part of you that's thinking, maybe they won't wait till the Purge. You know? Maybe they won't. They probably will, but who knows, man? Maybe you walk outside and you just piss them off too much, and it's like the arrogance gets the best of him. He's already lost his wife. He's got nothing to lose. Boom, murder, suicide, you know, something like that. It would be through your head. His living situation would just be awful. And by the time he came back, it wasn't like he could just leave the next day. I mean, I guess he could leave the country, but yeah, he commits to it. He brings his kid home. Screw it. He can't leave, so neither am I. No one's going to tell me where I can go. And boom, they start planning for the Purge. They have shotguns. They have everything. They've had time to plan, and they are ready for war. Will the neighbors come for him as well? Will it just be that guy, or will he rally the troops? I think he's going to rally the troops. I think it's going to be the whole neighborhood is going to be coming for Marcus. And, you know, we'll see what transpires there. So I'm looking forward to that. So good stuff there. Then we move on to Ben's storyline, where Ben confronts his girlfriend because he realizes she's seen the mask. This poor girl, Kellen. I feel terrible for Kellen in this episode. Just the fear. She's a smart girl though. I liked that she tried to play it off the best she could. Like, she lied. And people could be like, oh, well, you know, she didn't lie well enough, and she you know, played her hand a little too loose, and she was showing her nervousness. And it's like, come on, man. She did the best she could, the best of her ability. She really tried to hide that she was terrified, but she has a tell. You know, she's scratching at her neck, she's doing her, and her boyfriend loves her, and he recognizes these things. He's observant with her. Which actually is kind of sad, because that means he's probably a good boyfriend before all of this shit went down, that he would notice her tell that she's nervous. But yeah, she leaves the note. As soon as she left the note behind and he was gone, I was like, oh, he's going to slap it down in front of her. Like, that's it. Like, there's no way that's not going to happen. But then he gives her the knife, and she stabs him in the leg, incapacitating him. essentially, making him have a limp and not be able to physically chase after her as she runs. Smart girl, man. She makes a lot of great smart decisions in this. And then in kind of a panic mode, she runs out into the road and gets hit by a car, which is a brutal scene, man. The car hits her so hard. It's so realistic. Scenes like that, I'm always curious on how they do those, film them, but fuck, man, brutal stuff. And then she's just laying there, and the guy's reaction is so real, because like he goes straight into like self-preservation mode where he's just like, I'm fucked. He's like not even thinking about the girl, which unfortunately is pretty realistic. I think there are some people who would be like, oh my God, what did I do? Are you okay? But he goes straight into like, I'm screwed. My life's over. And it's like, her life's over, like for real over. And then Ben goes over there and strangles her to death. Oh my God, man. Like he crossed the line. That's it. Like, there's no redemption for him, and there's no coming back. Like, Ben's gonna die. Ben's gotta die. This remorse will hit him hard, but here he is, like 3 months later, and he's already looking at Purge masks. Like, he's moved on. This guy's irredeemable at this point. What he did to that poor, beautiful young girl there is just unforgivable. Kellen was a good girlfriend. She tried to stick through it with him. She had her suspicions, but she didn't want to believe it. And then when she did, she made a lot of smart decisions to try to get out of there, and it just didn't work out for her. And I felt horrible for her when he was strangling her. And I was like, Ben, I hate you. Like, I hate you now. Like, I want you dead. He tries to level with her. He tries to get her to come on his side of things, and he can't, and he should have done the right thing, and he should have taken that knife. For a second, I thought he was going to kill himself, but I'm like, there's too many episodes to go, and it's too many days till the purge for her to like, him be driving her home like an hour before the purge. Because that would have been interesting. I kind of thought that's where it was going to head. Like, Kellen was going to find out right before the purge, and then he was going to be trying to level with her, and then the purge sirens would sound, and she'd be on the run from him throughout an entire episode, like he's trying to purge her to keep the secret or whatnot. But no, she's gone now. So what he'll do now, I guess we're just going to kind of see he's already kind of declined. Like, I don't exactly know what we're going to see from him in the next 3 episodes. I feel like his arc is kind of hit, but I don't know. I mean, he's going to want to get revenge on that roommate. I think that's where we're going to go with it. But what's he going to do for the next couple episodes? I don't know. I mean, if the next episode's the purge, then it'll just be him tracking down his buddy. But once that's done, I feel like his story's complete. Will he go after his brother? Would he go like after his parents, like his mom and shit? I don't know if his dad's still alive. His mom was there. Yeah, I don't know. So we'll see what happens with his story, but I feel like his story is almost completed. It's just, now he just needs to die. Like, he's ass. Like, I can't not with him anymore. So there you go. All right, moving on to Ryan and Esme. So Esme is not a good blonde. She needs to drop the blonde. Not looking good on her. I've never been a big fan of blonde hair on dark skin. Like darker skin, like olive complexions, really dark Mexican women, Latinos, black women, stuff like that. It's a rarity that I like blondes. I'm a hairdresser, so I've seen a lot of it, and I don't like light hair on darker women. Like, it just rarely works. I've seen it work, but it's rare. Okay, that's nor here nor there. It's not the point of the episode, but I just thought it was funny when she put on the wig. I was like, ugh, she's such a gorgeous woman. I was like, that ain't working for you. So then, yeah, her coworker has a little smart strategy to get a hold of her, although I think that's ultimately going to backfire on her, and she is going to be arrested and or lose her life. So I kind of feel bad for the girl, but she just can't let it go. She has a working relationship. She barely knew Esme, though, so I kind of am like, why is she putting so much on the line? But I guess she's just kind of questioning because her job was fairly new at that time when she met her, and she wants to know that what she's doing is right. So she's a curious girl. She wants to make sure that she's doing the right thing, and so I can credit her for that. It's just, I think it's not going to lead in any good places, of course. But yeah, her and Ryan kind of have it out in this episode of is this too much of a risk? Does she need to leave? The cops almost arrest her. He tells her to get the fuck out. She tells him the truth that he that she was responsible for Tommy's arrest and ultimate death, inevitable death. And he tells her, that's it. Go, I don't care anymore. And then she apologizes, and then boom, she's like, I'm sorry. And he's like, all right, your ass is pretty hot, you can stay. And then boom, he's banging her. The next sequence, I'm like, yeah, she is pretty hot, man. But no, I mean, he believes in her. What she says, he wants to see her get her redemption. She's trying to do the right thing. It was just a job to her, but now she's trying to make it right. I think he does think she can help him, though, because we're right there. We're at the Purge. I think the next episode will be consistent of them trying to figure out not only the heist, but also how to get Tommy out of jail. Like, I do think that will be part of the plan. An auction, buying him at auction, breaking him out. Finding out who auctioned him and then going there and stopping it before it happens, kind of thing. I think she, with her tech skills, will be able to help him in that capacity. So she'll be able to wrong that right in addition to wronging other rights. So I think her arc will be completed as well through that. But yeah, I mean, good stuff all around. I'm so invested in everyone's story at this point. I really am. I want to know everything. Like, I'm really excited to see what happens. Probably the least interested in Ben's now that Kellen's dead, but Marcus and Michelle, way into seeing where that's gonna go. And now with Ryan and Esme being together, hell yeah, I want to see where that all goes, because there's so much that can happen there, and I want to see. So what do you guys think? Where are you at with this? Look forward to next episode. Sorry this review is late by a few days, but holidays and life just happens. Let me know. Adios.